good evening and welcome to Primetime Debate. I'm Tamanna. A clash between two castes that began in Pune has showed its impact on the streets of Mumbai for the second day today. Traffic was disrupted across the city, shops were shut and schools and colleges remained closed. There were reports of stray incidents of violence coming in from other parts of Maharashtra and incidents of stone pelting reported in Mumbai too. Now, while for most Mumbaikars the day has been about traffic, forced holidays and disturbance, the impact of what has occurred over the last 72 hours in Pune and Mumbai is likely to be much larger. The clash between castes in Pune has quickly been painted into a clash between classes and even ideologies. Now, to understand the implications of Maharashtra's caste wars, I am joined this evening by Dalit ideologue Chandrabhan Prasad and resident editor of Sakal Times, Rohit Chandavarkar. Welcome to Primetime Debate and thank you for your time. Rohit, I want to start with you and try and understand the bigger picture, because we know that this anniversary at Bhima Koregaon has been celebrated for 200 years. What happened this year? Let's begin from there.
Yes, as most people would know, this Bhima Koregaon monument is there to commemorate the victory of the Dalits, as they were called, Mahar Regiment, which was raised by the British at that time, over the Peshwas. The Peshwas, remember, are the Brahmin rulers of Pune 300 years ago. Now, this victory monument is visited usually every year in the first week of January by about 20-30,000 Dalits to commemorate the victory. This year, suddenly we saw close to 300,000, that is 3 lakh people gathering there. And it became a big political and social kind of an event. This, I think, happened mainly because the Dalits all over Maharashtra are feeling insecure after a series of rallies taken out by the Marathas in the last 1 year or 2 years in the state. The Marathas, remember, are demanding reservation in government jobs and in education, and Dalits obviously feel that the reservation quota might be taken from their share. So there is this feeling of insecurity or feeling of kind of tussle between these two communities, which was very subtle till now. And now suddenly with this incident happening at Bhima Koregaon, it has come to the fore and it has kind of come to the forefront. It is obviously, all politically motivated because, as you know, there are various political parties in Maharashtra which cater to certain castes in the state, and they target the castes as their voter base. Now, because about 3 lakh people were to come, it became a political thing, and then there was some tension, and the situation perhaps could not be handled properly by the police, which resulted in some stone pelting and some arson happening there. It could have been controlled at that point 2 days ago, but I think social media rumors played a large part in what happened today in Mumbai, because there were all sorts of rumors about things that didn't actually happen, spreading all over Maharashtra through social media, WhatsApp and Facebook and other things.
I agree, Rohit. In fact, this is a huge challenge of the times for journalists, especially to sift fact from fiction.
Just to complete, that's very true. And just to complete the point, so what has happened is in cities like Mumbai, Pune, Aurangabad and other places that you see, what is happening today is basically that reaction to the social media messages that spread about what happened in Bhima Koregaon, and the reaction, of course, you saw on Mumbai streets and Pune and all these cities, bringing all the businesses and establishments, shops, other things to a closure. Hopefully, this will end now, because the Dalit organizations just about 1 hour ago have announced that they are withdrawing their agitation today, and things will return to normal very fast. But today there's been, as you know, a lot of damage to vehicles and to transport sector in Mumbai especially.
Yeah, so, just a bit about the versions of what happened, and it's not just social media, it's very strange how this entire narrative has transformed over the last 48 hours or so. And Chandrabhan Prasad, I want you to come in here, because you have leaders like Jignesh Mevani who were present in Pune 2 days ago. They're present in Mumbai today. They are at the forefront of what they say is a larger umbrella of Dalit forces coming together opposed to the current dispensation. Where do you see this going?
Yeah, I really wonder how come Jignesh Mewani and Muhammad Khalid have come into picture. Before, several Hindu organizations, Brahman Mahasabha, Sambhaji Brigade, and even descendant of Peshwas had stated weeks before that they don't agree to the Kore Bhimagaon narrative. It was a battle between Indian kings and British. We are opposed to it. And they were prepared and they attacked the Dalits. Why was not Maharashtra government prepared with pellet guns to deal with stone pelters? How all of a sudden, why should media at all mention name of Mewani and Khalid? They were nowhere in the picture. And the war of words was going on between Dalit groups and the Hindu radical groups. So they were very well prepared, and the state knew. I would say the chief minister, the Maharashtra government knew very well that there are radical Hindu groups that are going to spoil the event. Why was not government prepared to do that? Is there some kind of understanding between the Maharashtra government and the stone pelters? And why 2 yardsticks? If Kashmiri youths are dealt with, stone pelters are dealt with pellet guns, why not these radical Hindu radical groups? So somewhere Mr. Fadnavis is directly responsible. He should be dismissed, investigated as why he tried to engineer a civil strife. You know, civil strife can lead to a civil war in any society. And here, Mr. Fadnavis seems to be at the forefront of engineering such a civil strife.
Mr. Prasad, I just want to come in with, because this is now a story which has so many versions to it. And honestly, I find that the version that each person adopts is the one which matches with their narrative or ideology the most. So it's quite difficult at this point to come to the truth of what actually happened, who threw the first stone, what led to those clashes 2 days ago. But let's talk about what we've seen in Mumbai today. These were supposed to be peaceful protests. Everyone has the right to protest. Do you think it's justified, Mr. Prasad, for any community to shut shops forcefully, to stop vehicles from plying, to not let normal life go on? How is that justified, sir?
Let me ask the simple question. When Dalits going in their cars and buses, unarmed, were attacked by mobs everywhere, police did nothing. Police rather allowed to things take place on their own. Where was the media then? Where was the civil society? Where were people of Maharashtra watching? And that is being thrashed without any provocation. So if society is silent on Dalits being thrashed, when everybody knew that this is 200 years of Koregaon battle where an army of 500 Dalits chased, crushed, defeated Marathas and Brahmin soldiers. Why was civil society, why was media, why was state silent spectators?
Now, we are going back again to what has happened 200 years ago. And here, I'm not getting into an argument of who did what. I'm just talking about the situation as it stands and what the bigger picture is right now. And I just want to bring in Rohit Chandavarkar here to understand the bigger picture because, you're in Pune right now, Rohit, where all of this started. Here in Mumbai, people are looking at it. The urban middle class is seeing the story as, oh, there was some bandh and our life got disrupted today. Tomorrow, hopefully, things will be back to normal. That's what most people care about. But there is a bigger picture here, isn't it? Because there is a political alignment which is now taking shape. And what do you see which direction do you see that moving to?
Tamanna, I think that's the most pertinent question right now that you're asking, because see, the business community or the investors who are looking at this broadcast, maybe for them the signal is very bad. Maharashtra Chief Minister has been again and again trying to say that Maharashtra is an investor-friendly state. It is, it's very beneficial to make large investments in the manufacturing sector in Maharashtra. But if you look at today's picture of the state capital, which also happens to be India's financial capital, where is the law and order? Close to 300 cars were smashed, trashed, burnt today in Mumbai city. Close to 45 public transport buses were destroyed. Life has come to a standstill, and it seems like there is nobody in charge and there is no control that anybody has. Now, if this kind of a thing continues, or if this kind of a thing happens, let's say even if once every 3 or 4 months, who's going to come and invest in this kind of a state? Who's going to, look at starting new enterprises? The subtle undercurrent that I see in Maharashtra, especially in Western Maharashtra, big centers like Pune, which is an IT capital, a large business center, is that the caste polarization is really happening very fast because of the political instability and also because of the farm distress. There's been a large distress in the agricultural sector because of various reasons in the last 2 or 3 years. And there is a large amount of population that is unhappy or annoyed with the current circumstances. And when this kind of a thing happens, the anger that you see on streets or the violence that you see and the inability of the police force to control things that you see is mainly because there is a large amount of population which is kind of annoyed, very angry, frustrated, unemployed.
Yeah.
So that is a very scary scene that I see now. For the time being, of course, this is all over. The worst is over. From tomorrow, it will be business like usual. But you never know, because right now I'm hearing that some Maratha groups in Pune city are organizing some kind of meetings right now and thinking of how they can again come and retaliate against what has happened.
So let me come back to the basic point that we made earlier, that doesn't matter which group, law and order has to be ensured, and it's the government's job to do it, no matter whether it's Maratha groups or Dalit groups. But I'm going to come straight on and ask the political question to you, Chandrabhan Prasad, because this is what is being debated at this point. Is this, after the Gujarat elections, is there also an attempt to mobilize caste groups, because opposition parties find that it is the only way really to penetrate the BJP bastion? And while the BJP creates Hindu majority sort of voter base, opposition groups are now trying to find splinters in that voter base by looking at caste equations.
See, these are all political questions and political parties will reply. But what I can say, and I can see immediately, that after crushing Chandrasekhar Azad in Saharanpur, after crushing Dalits voice in Andhra Pradesh, and smelling some kind of defeat in Gujarat, BJP, it seems, Saffron Brigade, it seems, is hell-bent in crushing the young Dalit leadership. And that is why implicating Jagwani in this case, where he has no role to play, the things happen 40 kilometers away from Pune city. I think BJP is somewhat scared of the new Dalit voices.
Well, that is one way to look at it. Rohit, I would like your view on that specific question. Either Jignesh Mevani and Umar Khalid today by certain groups are being painted as the villains of the piece, and Chandrabhan Prasad, for example, says that they are being made scapegoats because there is a fear that a caste equation would splinter the BJP's mathematics electorally.
That's right. I think we have seen this happening earlier also in 2004 when Atal Bihari Vajpayee's government was there in Delhi, and in Maharashtra also. BJP, not in Maharashtra, but in Delhi, Atal Bihari Vajpayee's government was there. We saw the Nationalist Congress Party taking up the issue of the book written by James Lane, which was kind of used to gather, mobilize the Maratha community against the ruling BJP, and large-scale rallies happened, and all of that mobilization happened. So there is a reference to this earlier also, and we see this kind of caste mobilization happening every time the Congress or the NCP in Maharashtra specifically feel that they need to challenge the numbers that BJP has. The BJP, of course, keeps their Hindutva agenda going, and the other factors that they have been talking about of development and industrial growth and other things. But somehow the regional parties like NCP specifically in Maharashtra, they always depend on the caste calculations and the caste mobilization that they can do to counter this. So of course there is that narrative very much present on the ground. But like I said earlier, it is supported, or it gets a lot of backing, especially in rural areas, mainly because of the distress that you see, the economic distress, I mean. And after demonetization or after...
I just want to come in here and ask you, because you have so much experience in covering this area of Maharashtra politics and what is happening there. There is economic distress, there is farmer distress. Doesn't it extend to people from all castes?
That's a very good question. It does extend to all castes, but you would see that the Maratha community, which is about 32% of population in Maharashtra, is largely into 2 or 3 professions. One is agriculture, the other is politics, if you want to call it a profession, and then there are 1 or 2 other sectors in which the Marathas are there, where they get affected more by the agriculture district. They are the biggest landholders in Maharashtra. They are the biggest political stakeholders in Maharashtra. So they get affected more by the changing economics. The Dalits in large numbers, I wouldn't say all of them, but many of them can depend on their government jobs or their salaried income in public sector companies, in government companies, and also in other professions that they are, where not really in agriculture itself. Whereas the OBCs are into their small trade, other things, they are also not dependent on agriculture that much. So there is a clear equation between agricultural distress and the Marathas getting affected by that, because they are the ones who are dependent more on the agricultural sector in Maharashtra. The Brahmins, if you look at them, about 4% of the population are, of course, mainly in the urban areas, are into private sector companies, jobs, and of course also in government service, and have also moved abroad. But it's the Maratha chunk which feels that they are deprived of all the benefits that either the Brahmins get because of the development that they have achieved, or the Dalits get because of the reservations and other things that they benefit out of. That is the perception that the Marathas have. And because of that, you will see this distress more among Marathas and the anger more among Marathas. Now, that anger has been brewing in the last 1 year or 2 years or so. And we have seen all these Maratha morchas, as they call them, rallies coming to Mumbai, also other cities. And this, what is happening last 2 or 3 days, what you see is basically the reaction of the Dalits who are, I think, retaliating through these kinds of agitations and stone pelting and other things that have happened today, mainly because of the insecurity that they have felt in the last 2 years or so.
All right, so it is a tricky situation which is brewing. Thank you so much, Chandrabhan, Prasad and Rohit Chandavarkar, for speaking with us this evening. It's a big challenge really for the Fadnavis government to make sure that these caste fault lines don't widen even further, whatever the political impact may be.